Hello viewers, welcome to Risharaj Classes YouTube channel. There are a lot of changes in the Maths and Science syllabus of class 8, 9 and 10. And I am talking this about the syllabus of Karnataka State. I have already uploaded one video in which I have explained the changes in the Maths syllabus of class 10. Now in this video, we are going to discuss about the changes in the Maths book of class 8. There are many changes. Yes, there are many changes and only few points are in favor of the students, but there are many points which are going to prove a bit harmful for the students in the coming future. Okay, so let's have a look at this change in the syllabus. Before I tell you about the new syllabus, let's check what were the topics in the old book. In part 1, the chapters were playing with numbers, rational numbers, linear equations in one variable, understanding quadrilaterals, squares and square roots, algebraic expressions and identities, practical geometry. And the chapters in part 2 were cubes and cube roots, exponents and powers, data handling, direct and inverse proportion, introduction to graph, factorization, visualizing solid shapes, comparing quantities and mensuration. So there were 7 chapters in part 1 and 9 chapters in part 2. So altogether there were 16 chapters. Now let's see what are the chapters in new books. Now the chapters in new book part 1 are rational numbers, linear equations in one variable, understanding quadrilaterals, data handling, squares and square roots and cubes and cube roots. While the chapters in part 2 are comparing quantities, algebraic expressions and identities, mensuration, exponents and powers, direct and inverse proportion, factorization and introduction to graph. So from this it is clear that in new syllabus, in new books there are 13 chapters and in old book there were 16 chapters. So from this it is clear that 3 chapters are completely cancelled. So the chapters which they have cancelled are playing with numbers, practical geometry and visualizing solid shapes. These 3 chapters they have completely cancelled. While in other 13 chapters, what changes they have made, that we are going to discuss in this video, and at the end of the video I am going to explain the positive and negative points about this change in the syllabus. To avoid the confusion, I have noted down everything on this paper. Each and every chapter I have noted down. So I'll just explain this. So in new book, the first chapter is rational numbers. In old book, there were 2 exercises and now in new book, there is only 1 exercise. Second chapter, that is linear equations in one variable. Altogether, there were 6 exercises in old book and now in new book, there are only 2 exercises of this chapter. I am going to talk especially about this chapter at the end of this video. The third chapter is understanding quadrilaterals. In this chapter, there is no change. This chapter is as it is. 4 exercises were there in old book. All those 4 exercises are there in this new book. Later, data handling. In old book, there were 3 exercises and now there are only 2 exercises. Next is squares and square roots. Even in this chapter, there is no change. There were 4 exercises and now at present also there are 4 exercises. So this chapter is as it is without any change. Now the next chapter of part 1, the last chapter of part 1 is cubes and cube roots. Even in this chapter there is no change. 2 exercises are as it is in old book as well as in new book. Now let's see what are the changes in part 2 book. In part 2, the first chapter is comparing quantities. So here in old book there were 3 exercises and in new book also there are 3 exercises, but they have reduced the number of sums. Means in one exercise there were 11 sums, now in new book there are only 5 sums, while in place of 12 sums there are only 3 sums. So these are some changes which they have made in new book. Now the next chapter is algebraic expression and identities. In old book there were 5 exercises and now in new book there are 4 exercises. Actually even this is very important chapter. Even we will talk about this chapter at the end of this video. Now the next is mensuration. Even this is an interesting topic. In old book there were 4 exercises and now in new book there are 3 exercises. Exponents and powers. is the next chapter. There is no change in this chapter. 2 exercises in the old book, 2 exercises in the new book. Both the exercises are as it is without any changes. Now the next one is direct and inverse proportion. Even there is no change in this topic. 2 exercises in old book, 2 exercises in new book without changing any sum. Next is factorization. Even factorization is very important concept. In old book there were 4 exercises and now in new book there are only 3 exercises. Again, unfortunately, they should have not reduced the sums or exercises from this chapter. Now the last one is introduction to graph. In old book there were 3 exercises and now in new book there are only 2 exercises. So there is lot of reduction in the new books. I'll tell you one more interesting thing about the change in this book. Our part 1 old book, it was of nearly 124 pages and the new book is of 82 pages. So straightway there is a reduction of 42 pages. While our part 2 old book, it was of 150 pages and the new book is of 98 pages. So straightway here there is reduction of 52 pages. So if we compare part 1 and part 2, altogether 94 pages are reduced. Yes, 94 pages they have reduced. Now as I said at the end of this video, I'll tell you something about the plus and minus point about the change of the syllabus. Students are happy. Yes, most of the students are happy as syllabus is reduced. They say we have to study less. Yes, of course you have to study less. But whose intention is only to pass, only to clear the exam, for them it's really very good. There is very less part to study, very less syllabus to study, very less content, easy content to study. But those who really wish to progress in life, those who want to attempt any competitive exams in future, like scholarship exams, NMMS, NTSE, Sainik School, Navodaya. So if they are going to try such exams in future, for them, they will have to take lot of efforts for the preparation of these exams, because the basic part which was required for this exam, it was already there in your old syllabus, but now unfortunately it's not the part of your new books. For example, linear equation in one variable. As I said, I'll be talking about this chapter at the end of this video. Linear equation in one variable is such an important chapter. How to form the equations, how to solve the equations, and most important part of this chapter was word problems. So after reading the word problem, how to form the equation and then how to solve, this part is completely reduced in the new syllabus. Means word problems of linear equations in one variable is not the part of this new syllabus. And as I said, one more chapter, that is algebraic expressions and identities. Identities play very important role in algebra. Many things we have to solve based on the identity, because based on its identities, multiplication and factorization of algebraic expression is based. Many multiplication and factorization sums of algebraic expression we can solve based only on these identities. So if they reduce the practice sums from these chapters, again students are going to face problem in higher class. So as I said, factorization, algebraic expression and identities, these are connected chapters. So if the students are perfect in identities, factorization is going to be very easy for them. As a teacher, what I feel is that the portion or the part which they have reduced, they should have not done that. At least in some chapters like linear equations in one variable. So as I said, these are some plus and minus point, positive and negative side of this change in the syllabus. What you feel about the change in the syllabus? Did you like this change in the syllabus? Did you like the reduction in the syllabus? Whether it is really in the favor of the students, whether it is really going to be helpful for them. If helpful, how? And if not, how? I would like to know your opinion. So please, I request you to drop your opinion in the comment box of this video. Even I would like to know whether students and parents are in favor or not in favor of this change in the syllabus. We cannot say against, but not in favor of this change in the syllabus. So please, without fail, drop a comment below this video. So my dear students, we'll make one more video in which I'll explain the change in the syllabus of class 9. So whatever it is, our job is to study and score best marks. So my dear students, please do share this video among your friends. Don't forget to share this video among maximum students of class 8. Let them know the change in syllabus and what are the positive and negative points of the change in this syllabus. And to get the updates of such useful, interesting, helpful videos, subscribe our channel, that is Rishraj Classes. My dear viewers, thank you so much for watching this video.